Hello, friends. How are you all? This is Atisham, and welcome to Lost in Spain. Today, I'm really lost because I'm 275 kilometers away from Madrid in the beautiful town of Albarracin, one of the most beautiful towns of Spain that is located in the state of Aragon.
Hey friends, in this video I'm going to tell you about my two-night motorcycle trip from Madrid. I went to the province of Teruel and it's around 270 kilometers from where I live, but if you go from Madrid center you might have to add like 25-30 kilometers, almost 300 kilometers. To go there you'll have to pass through the province of Cuenca in Castilla-La Mancha. My first stop was Albarracin. I went with my Ducati ST3 Sports Tourer motorcycle. So it was my 3 day trip outside home. I slept 2 nights outside, first night in Teruel and second night in a small town known as Valderobres. The best part of the trip was obviously the motorcycle ride through this mountainous area of Cuenca known as Serranía de Cuenca. I usually go out on weekdays when there is hardly any traffic, but I did find some unusual traffic. There was a herd of cows standing right in the middle of the road. I stopped and the cows also started gazing me, then they started running on one side. I also sped up my motorcycle on the other side because I wanted to be safe. Many years back, I had a scooter accident when I ran into one of the cows. So now I'll shut up for a moment so that you can really feel and enjoy my motorcycle ride. So in this region of Spain, you have really remote areas, and there was a period for like an hour I didn't see a gas station, and there was no network on my cell phone. And one of the biggest headache I had that the motorcycle reserve light turned on. That means my motorcycle gas was now in reserve area. And the bad thing about this Ducati motorcycle, when it comes into reserve, all the remaining range it disappears. So it doesn't tell you how many more kilometers you have to go. Although I had some ideas that my motorcycle on a full tank goes around 300 kilometers or so, but I also was worried because maybe going in the mountain area because of a different terrain, maybe the average and consumption is a bit different. But finally, I reached Albarracin with some gas to spare. The first thing I did was to fill in the gas, then I did a walking tour and some sightseeing of Albarracin. Albarracin is actually located on a mountain, and you have to cross the mountains through a tunnel underneath. So Albarracin, just like the other towns of older period, is located on a hill, and of course you have to leave the motorcycle and all the cars outside, and you have to come climbing on a slope. But the views are really great all around. The main area of the city is the plaza, the square where you have the ayuntamiento, the town hall of the city. So Albarracin has this beautiful Plaza Mayor with the town hall of the city and houses of rich, important, noble and traders' families of the older period. And Albarracin on the mountain, again like the other older cities of Spain, is surrounded by a river around the mountain. The name Albarracin is of Arabic origin. It comes from bin Razin. Razin was a Muslim ruler who ruled in this area in the 11th century. In older days, Albarracin and all the area around Albarracin was a rich trade center because of the wool production here. The grasslands around the mountains are good for herding of sheep, and there was a lot of sheep business here, and thus we had a lot of wool production. Among all the old houses, you see a very curious, different kind of house that's called the Casa Azul, the blue house. That was a rich noble family who made a different kind of architecture in the 18th century. Nowadays, because it is cultural heritage, and Albarracin is also trying to be like a World Heritage Site. So nowadays there is a lot of control about the kind of constructions that you can make in and around the historical area of Albarracin. Most of the businesses and establishments in the historical quarter are obviously related with tourism. Albarracin is a very famous tourism spot in Spain, and because of its good location, it's located in a place where it's near to four big cities of Spain. From Valencia and Zaragoza, you can arrive here in hardly 2 hours, and from Madrid and Barcelona, it's like a drive from 4 to 4.5 hours. So on weekends and holidays, people of Spain, they also love their culture and heritage. They like coming to these kind of places like Albarracin and Teruel, staying a night, seeing the historical quarter, and also roaming around in the natural area. It is really interesting to roam around these centuries old lanes and alleys. And of course, you see old construction like this church called Santa Maria and Santiago Church. Following the lane in front of the church, you come near to a gate. This gate of the city is known as La Puerta de Molina, the Molina Gate. Molina is name of a town, Molina de Aragon, and when you left the city on this gate, you reached or you took the way towards Molina de Aragon. There is actually a lack of signage. Like the bigger cities, you don't have road signs. That also makes these kind of little towns really interesting. You can feel a bit lost, and I really love this feeling. I saw some people going further up and they were trying to climb the walls, but I saw that there was not real protection or security around the walls, so I decided just to wander the town on this lower side. So when you enter back into the city from this gate, you will see the name of the street known as Calle de los Palacios, the street of the palaces, because in the older times, all the rich families who had this big kind of palatial houses, they were all located on this street. That's why the name Calle de los Palacios. And when you enter back into the city from this gate, you see perhaps what is the best and the most popular image of this city, a very irregular shaped house known as Casa de la Julianeta. It shows the typical architecture of the area, how they use wooden beams and all the masonry work to make these kind of houses. So if you see, you will see some houses are really built in a very solid manner, made up of stone, but other houses, maybe they belong to poorer families, so the material is also cheaper and poorer, made with wooden beams and all the mud and masonry. On the south part of Albarracin, there is another old gate on the walls known as Portal del Agua, the water gate, because this was the gate from where people brought water into the city. Albarracin is located on the banks of a river known as Guadalaviar River. People went down to the river from this gate and they brought the water up into the city from this side and entering through this gate. That's why the name of the gate of the water or the water gate. Being a very old and protected area, you are not allowed to bring in your traffic inside the city. Although you find cars parked inside the historical area of the city. These are the cars of the residents who live here, and of course, they have a special permission to bring in your car. Sometimes the tourists they just follow the Google Maps and they bring the cars into some areas which are actually not allowed. So you have to be very careful with this. So I went to a viewpoint that is actually on the outskirts of the city from where you have a beautiful view of the city and you can see how the walls they ran around the city through the hills. So after Albarracin, because I did a morning stop here, I headed to my next destination. That was the town of Teruel, because I was not going to stay and sleep here in Albarracin. I was going to sleep in Teruel. And after Teruel, my next destination would be the little town of Valderobres. Friends, I hope you enjoyed my video about my motorcycle trip to Albarracin. Please keep in touch and I'll bring you more things next time. So till then, hasta luego.